Alright guys, welcome back. So Escanor is dropping in a few hours. I'm going to be uploading this video right before the maintenance, because normally I like to wait and review the character a little bit, then do a bit of a should you summon. But I do realize a lot of people are going to be coming towards the game, hopefully new, because of Escanor coming towards the game. But also they're dropping so much stuff tomorrow with Escanor, new Knighthood boss, new Advent battle, new story mode, new mini games. There's so much to cover that I don't think I can even upload enough videos to cover all of it in 1 or 2 days. So I'm going to get this video out in advance so we can talk about should you summon him for not only obviously Escanor, but the character recent alongside of him, that being Gelda. Gelda's already in the game, and she is a unique healer in a way, but unfortunately ill-timed with the fact that regardless of who releases alongside Escanor, they're releasing alongside Escanor. So it's very much going to be hard to say summon for a character that is already in the game. And to be fair, you might even get a few copies of her on the Escanor banner. But let's run through what Escanor does to go a bit more in detail after thinking about him for the last few hours of his kit being revealed. If you're new and you want to see more Escanor content and obviously Services Idol content, then be sure to subscribe on, and a like would help out too. So let's jump into his kit. So on screen now you can see he is going to be a green DPS character, which is perfect. This is kind of what I wanted from Escanor, mainly because right now we are really lacking in the green department in terms of DPSs. Like Zarathos can be good and actually is pretty good, it's just he hasn't had a rate up banner yet. So in terms of like green DPS, I've been just using melee and a little bit of mon speed. I mean, even though Ghetto of anything and Bellion, it's been a bit rough. And not only that, but Escanor is probably going to be the best DPS for this actual Gold Hero XP dungeon, because he has a lot of AoE skills and his type advantage. He's going to be very, very good. So yeah, his skills are on screen now. His first skill, Strike, is going to deal damage equal to 99% of attack onto a target, which is, I mean, it's standard, right? I mean, no one really has anything crazy in terms of like normal skills. They normally just have like straight up damage. Surprisingly, it is 1% lower than what we see from like the other characters in the game. That being, well, I guess like the bigger DPSs, right? Like Galand and Barn all have 100%, but Galand does do a bit more with the fact that a lot of the commanders do actually. The commanders all have like good skill ones. This doesn't necessarily take away from Escanor. It's just something that I guess if they want to make it even more broken, they could have put something else on this skill. But then we get towards skill 2, which is Blazing Sun, which should be Cruel Sun, but they for some reason called it a bit different. But what he does is deal damage equal to 188% of attack onto all enemies within a 2-meter radius from the initial target every 5 seconds, which is very similar towards Gopher, where this skill is just always going to proc every 5 seconds. I believe it will be affected by the cooldown reduction of obviously Gopher. So if you reduce it, or you proc it once, 5 seconds, and then reduce the ultimate, then it's going to reduce to 3 seconds. I'm pretty sure that's what it does affect. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty good skill. You know, AoE on a skill 2 isn't too bad. Monspeed does have it, but Monspeed's not really a DPS character. And the multiplier, to be fair, is quite high. So I'm kind of glad they're leaning into him being a really, really big DPS nuker, which is kind of what I expected from a Cruel Sun ability, where it's a big AoE nuke a little bit. Not that big, it's only a special skill, but we say that for the ultimate. But when you do use his special skill, what he's going to do is grant himself Sunshine for 5 seconds each time this skill deals damage to an enemy, which I think, and this is all speculation, but could be broken in the future. But essentially, this skill procs once. If it hits 5 people, you will then get 5 stacks of Sunshine. But if it only hits 1 person, then you're only going to get 1 stack of it. And as you can see at the bottom, you're going to increase your crit chance by 0.4 and your crit damage by 0.8, stacks up to 30 times. Which is going to be a very hard skill to max out, because this skill only lasts 5 seconds, and it comes back every 5 seconds. So he is going to be really like a big AoE nuke when it comes towards Tower Trials, when it comes towards the Gold Dungeon. And as we progress through story mode, I do imagine they might start to throw in a more, you know, AoE bosses rather than just one single target boss. But this is some speculation, but I really do hope when we get a new Merlin, because Merlin should come out, I'd imagine not next, because it might be Diane, because that's what the story chapters are about. But if they do either Diane or obviously, you know, Merlin next, whenever they do decide to release Merlin, she has got the Endless Whirl ability, where like is a massive like tornado, massive storm. I really hope they make an ability where like, where Merlin's ultimate can like drag people onto like a center where like they're all in just one area, and then an Escanor big nuke will come off and then hit like 5 to 10 people that are all stuck in that tornado. That would be such a broken combo, and something that I can see coming with Merlin, especially Escanor and Merlin working well together. It makes sense like canon wise a little bit. So that is something I hope to do, but we'll see if that actually happens. But yeah, then we get the ultimate, which is Punishment, which is going to be probably the best ultimate in the game. It deals damage equal to 926% of attack to all enemies in a 4x7 area meter in front of self, which is insane. I mean, look at Barn. Barn is going one of the better DPSs, does insane damage, and his multiplier is 912. So Escanor has got more damage, but also you got to remember is a massive AoE skill. Barn doesn't do AoE, it's only single target. Galan does do a bit more, but once again, it's single target. The only comparable one a little bit is King, because King does have very much similar range, where it's 4 times 7.5, where Escanor is 4 times 7. So very much the same range from King. Where King's multiplier, as you can see, is 702. So a massive, massive buff there towards Escanor. Definitely going to have one of the strongest ultimates in the game. But you got to remember, there's a little bit of a text at the end of the skill, which does say he does actually become type advantage for this ultimate against every character in the game, which is just insane, right? Like, King does really good to like deal damage with red characters, but Escanor is going to deal damage towards everyone in the game, and the characters that deal type advantage against him that are red are normally going to do really good against him, but then Escanor is going to hit him and deal type advantage. Yeah, it's the best ultimate in the game, no, hands down, right? But then also he obviously gets a buff which increases his final attack by 50%, which by the way can pair up with King. King does buff up attack by 20%, but this buff is onslaught, where Escanor's buff is overwhelmed, so you can stack both together. But the important thing to know is that he only gets this buff after he deals the damage, so he's not going to get it as he's dealing that big ultimate damage, and the buff only lasts 10 seconds. So if he brings someone like Gelda that can reduce cooldowns, for example, then you're able to use that ultimate again with that attack buff on. Very, very powerful, and once again, reason why Gelda is a little bit of a must summon. But yeah, these two are going to work really, really well together. But yeah, if you are someone who's been saving since the start of the game, this is definitely going to be a banner must summoning for even someone who's just starting now. He's definitely a character you definitely want to get towards 8-star, doing a minimum of 160,000 diamonds on his banner. Now, if you're someone who doesn't have that many gems right now, don't worry, they're bringing a lot of events during this new update. We're getting more story quests as well, and even if you summon as much as you can on Escanor's banner right now and spend your universal tokens onto him, you probably have a pretty decent dupe to Escanor, being like 3 to 4-star, 5-star even. That will probably help you clear through even more content, which will once again then give you more gems too. So I feel like everyone should be able to finish his banner completely, spending 160,000 diamonds on his banner, something I definitely recommend. And yeah, I mean, it's Escanor, right? Kind of what you expect, right? But in terms of content, what he's going to be good in, definitely PvP, since there's more characters. Type advantage is going to be absolutely probably the best character in that. Tower trials going forward. Tower trials every single stage always has around like 10 to 15 enemies. I mean, like, yeah, 9 enemies, right? So like just getting a massive crew, something like 5 of them, and then dealing type advantage. You can bring him in any of the stages because he's always going to deal with type advantage. You can't bring him in hard though. Hard is going to be a bit different because you can only bring type neutral. But going forward in normal content, yeah, gonna be insane. Almost a plug and play in almost all advent battles. Lab Summer Dungeon, I'm gonna try him out. I imagine it's going to be pretty good. And especially probably going to be the best character for the Gold Dungeon. And if you have him, then base defense going to be really, really good, right? Like having an AoE character didn't always have advantage. He's going to be one of the best characters alongside Monspeed, Zartros, and obviously King as well. So very much looking forward to getting Escanor. Once I get Escanor, I'll probably be able to get towards wave 100. I guarantee it. And then releasing alongside of him is Gelda, who obviously has been in game, and you can even guarantee a few copies of her by completing Tower Trials, getting her for free a little bit if you choose her in your selection ticket. And also she's been not given out for free, but she's in every standard ticket. You'll be able to get her on every banner going forward. So is she worth summoning? Definitely not. Even if Escanor wasn't coming out, I still wouldn't say summon, because it's a character a lot you have to invest into. The main reason why is because her healing is based off successful attacks, right? So you can see right here, she's going to deal damage and then restore HP based off her actual attack, but you have to successfully attack someone. Also, second skill, upon landing a crit, so you want to dupe her out because her crit chance naturally isn't that high, so the more dupes you get, the better she'll be. Plus, you can probably give her some more potential slots to give her more attack or more crit chance, but then again, she is a red character, so she does benefit from Elite to bring a like a full red team a little bit. But once again, same thing, right? You have to land a crit and successfully attack someone to restore HP. This is why I don't really like the character, because at low dupe level, she's not that usable, like 1 to 2 star a little bit, because you have to successfully attack. So if you miss, this is not healing. And you can bring characters like Scenery, for example, that just heal base of her attack. And this skill doesn't need to, land a skill. It can just heal no matter what, which is a good thing, because that means at 2-star, for example, which I'm using her right now, and even when she's like 1 or 2-star, you can actually use her and be a decent healer. Also, bear in mind Scenery a little bit, she does get the final attack buff from King because she is a blue type character, so she's going to naturally have higher attack anyway, where she's going to actually heal quite a lot, more probably reliable than a Gelda. once again, unless you can get a duped out. So, I mean, unless you're whale, you're probably going to summon for Gelda. But if you are free to play and you have some gems left over, definitely save. I wouldn't waste it on Gelda. If you happen to naturally get Gelda up in terms of like deep levels by summon for Escanor, any character going forward, or you get some, you know, free legendaries and you get her up, then I'm sure she's going to be a pretty decent character. But one you have to work on a lot more than other actual healers, right? Because like I said, Zenari can heal just generally anyway. Glock's here in the same situation where he can just heal and also grant you damage over time immunity, depending on what content you're in. Remove all debuffs too. Like, it's just, you can bring a healer and a cleanser where Gelda's just straight up healing. I'm not the biggest fan of it, so I do think Gelda is a skip. But once again, you know, ignoring Escanor coming out, right? Like, she was going to be, I think she's going to be skipped anyway. You're better off saving for probably a Merlin. Then we'll probably get a Diane. And then we'll probably get like a new Elizabeth in the future, which will be probably a better healer. So you're better off saving for that. So guys, thank you for watching today's video. Good luck on your summons. I'm definitely doing a full rotation, 160,000 on this banner. And then we also have 50,000 tickets afterwards, which I'll do it probably a day later because there's going to be a lot of events coming out and a lot of stuff to get some free tickets. So I'll max those out first. And then I'll probably get upwards of 60k and then do some summon to see if we can get another Escanor. And yeah, it's going to be fun. So guys, thank you for watching today's video. And yeah, peace.